Hi everyone, this is the walkthrough for the lab for Unit 5. So right now I'm looking at Blackboard and in the Unit 5 folder. I want to go to Assignments, and right here is the lab. So if you look at the description here, it says after reading Chapter 7 and reviewing the materials in the Unit 5 Materials folder, complete the practice tasks found on page 146 to 152 of your textbooks. And you need this file for the assignment. So I'm going to download this simple format file. It's going to go to my downloads. I'm going to come on over here and bring project over. So I'm going to go ahead and open from my downloads folder that file I just downloaded. So simple format. Alrighty. So if you look at this, do you see it comes straight up into our Gantt chart, right? So on the left is our data, and it looks, like I said, it looks very similar to what we see in Excel. Each item is a row that's kind of like a record, and the columns are fields or pieces of information. So this is what really populates our database behind MS Project, but that's not how we really work with it in Project. So over on the left, though, is our data, and then over here on the right, and this is what we're going to deal with in this chapter a lot, is the Gantt chart. So you can see that each of these corresponding tasks is a bar here on our Gantt chart on the right side, the chart part of it, and you see that it shows who's assigned to it. Here you've got a milestone, look, the diamond, and it's got a date on there. If you look across the top, one of the things we talked about is what timeline we're going to use. And so if you look at this project, you can see that it's really each day, and then here's a week, right? So that's the time setting that we did, how we wanted to measure that. And then if you look above it, we have our timeline view, which right now is empty. There's no tasks on it, because one of the things you have to do is you have to put something, because you wouldn't have all of these up there. You would just put specific things up there. You wouldn't not repeat. Okay, so if we take a look at page 146, we already have up what we want. So they want us to move to the manually scheduled task 9, right? And so if I'm over here at 9, prepare book P&L statement, right? And so right here is it. So if you look across, do you notice the different coloring? That's because that is a manually identified task. So one of the things that I wanted to show you is, do you see this task mode column over on the data side? If you come up here and drop down in task mode, and I'm going to unselect auto scheduled and filter out and just show the ones that are manually tasked, which is at step 9. Task 9, but notice that the one above it that it's part of also shows. That's because it's a component of this internal launch phase. So this task is manually, but the overarching task that it's included in would also appear. So I'm going to go ahead and put those back, and I wanted to draw your attention to that. So I want you to just kind of keep an eye on this task as we do different styles, right? This manually applied style. So the next thing we want to do is to do the predefined, select the predefined orange style. So we need to go to the Format tab up here, Gantt Chart Tools, Format, and then here's our Gantt Chart Styles. And I'm going to use the More button, which this arrowhead down with the line above it, that's going to bring open that whole gallery. And I do want you to note, we have those two different categories, right? Here's our scheduling styles. And remember, those identify the differences between manually and automatic scheduled. And then presentation styles, which don't draw that attention, right? So even if you look at the colors there, look, there's two different colors. So one would be for a manual, would be for an automatic. If you look down at the presentation styles, the bars are all the same colors, right? So that's kind of a representation of what the difference is. So we want to do a presentation style, and we're going to pick the orange color, which is, I think it's this one. So yeah, orange right here. I'm going to click on it, and then so project will change the formatting of all of the Gantt charts. Notice task 9, right? The manually scheduled task, it's no longer visually distinct, right? So if you were just looking at this, you would not be able to identify that this is a manually scheduled task. And maybe it doesn't matter, and maybe it does. So that's kind of the point, is when you're working with these styles, you have to identify whether it's important to recognize the manually scheduled ones or not. So let's look at task 6. So that's it's a milestone here, right? So if we look at the verbiage, it's planning complete, 0 dates, and the 23rd is the target for the milestone. So that describes the end of the first phase of the new book launch. You want to highlight the task name, apply italic style to it, and format the task with a yellow background color, right? So let's go ahead and try that. So we're going to come over here, planning complete, and I'm going to go, let's see if I can do text styles, and I want it to be italic, and background color, they want to do a yellow. That's gold, so yellow. And then okay. Whoa, that's not right, Helen. Pause that. Okay. I forgot that I was still on Gantt charts format. So look, when I did that, it does all of them. So we want to go back to task because we're only going to do it on the task. So I have this task selected. Now I can apply the yellow and italic, and then it would only be that one task. I apologize for that. So, oh, I did it on the wrong one. Oh my God. Planning complete, yellow and italic. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we are on step number 4, which is on page 148. So we have our planning complete, finally, italicized and highlighted with the yellow. But now I want to change this diamond. That's the default for a milestone. And the way I do it, the easiest way to do it is I just double click on it. And it's going to bring up the format bar. And so right here on the start is a shape. I'm going to pick the star and say okay, and now that milestone is indicated with a star instead of a diamond. All right, so we're on 148 and we want to look at the scenario there. You know from past experience that some of your stakeholders of the new book launch party will find your Gantt chart view more detailed than they like. To help such stakeholders see the key details rather than the everything, you decide to build a timeline view. Later, you will copy the timeline view to another program as a quick project at a glance image. So continuing with this, we're going to add the following tasks to the timeline. So planning phase, there's what? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that we're going to add to the timeline view. So if you looked on in your chapter on 134, it shows it has a couple different ways that you can, there's really 3 ways that you can put a task onto a timeline. So you can click on a timeline, format, insert existing. You can click on the task that you want to appear and add it in the properties group, add it to timeline, or you can right click on the task and add to timeline with the shortcut. let's do all three of them. So all three views so you can see which one that you like. So the first thing is planning phase, right? Planning phase. Planning phase. So I'm going to right click, which is the way I normally do it. And then we're going to just say add to timeline. Okay. So look up here at our timeline. Now we have a planning phase. So let's find planning complete. So on this one, let's do a different method. So let's see here. Click in the timeline view, and then on the timeline view format task, we want to find the insert group, and we want to find existing task. And from here, so the nice thing here is we could click multiple. So let's do planning complete, internal launch phase, and we'll do OK there. So now that's going to come up here. And look, here's our milestone. See how it applies? So we'll do the author, travel, and appearances as the third way. So let's find author, travel, and appearance. Author, travel, and appearance. Let's find that. Author, reading, author, travel, and appearance. So here's the task. So on the task tab, so here's author, travel. Let's see. What do we want? Author, travel, and appearances. Okay, so we have that selected. We're on the task tab. In the properties group, we're going to click add to timeline. Okay, so let's just review the three ways. We right clicked and we said add to timeline. We we double clicked on click anywhere on the timeline view, right? Anywhere up here. We get our timeline tools format, and we can insert existing tab, or down here we can go to the task and add to timeline. Okay, so those are the three ways that we can get something up to the timeline. So now we have those kind of important things out of there, so that we could show these major phases to somebody who doesn't care so much about the details. So let's go on to step number 2 for that. So if we look at that timeline view, look, author, it doesn't show the whole thing. So I'm clicking up there. So now I have my timeline tools format, and I want to, instead of doing it as a bar, I want to display it as a call out, right? So there we go. See how it's like the milestones out here. So now it indicates the time, but it pulls the text outside of it. And then my timeline view is getting larger, right? So I'm going to take a minute and save this, and then we're going to move on to reports, right? So just to recap, we modified our view so it was a presentation rather than having it distinguish between manual and automatic tasks. We populated the timeline view. We changed the shape for the milestone. And now we're going to go over and work on reports. So on 149, the scenario, you want to share the resource cost overview report with the team. However, you want to change the formatting of some elements in the report. So the first thing that we need to do is to show the report. So if I come over here to reports, we want to find the resource cost overview. So if I come to the tab, I'm in here on view reports, and I found cost. And then here is the resource cost overview report. So I'm going to click on that. And here is the default resource cost overview. Okay, so we've got some remaining costs. We don't have any actual. We've got some cost details here. And then a pie chart that shows the distribution of the overall project, what is between work cost and really, cost and work. All right, so we're going to apply the black background. So, oops. I need to be down here, and I'm going to have the report tools. And I want to apply the... No, hold on a second. Okay, so I needed to select the pie chart because I want to get the background to the pie chart. So without it, I don't have the tab up there, right? So I need to click on that object. You'll get the chart tools, the design and format tab. So we're going to come over here to format, and no, we're going to go to design, sorry. Click the more button, and we want style number 7. So we're going to apply that. It does the black background. Right, black background to the pie. Step 3, apply the gray background table style to the table. So this is the table here. So if I click on that, it no longer says chart tools, it says table tools. So we're going to click on that design, and we want accent 3, theme style 1. Hold on. Okay, so I have the table selected. I'm in Table Tools Design. I'm going to click this more down, and you can see it's broken up by light, medium, and dark. And then up here is Best Match for Document. And this is the one I was having a hard time finding it. Theme Style 1, Accent 3, located under Best Match. So if I click on that, you'll see that my table of data now takes on that style. Okay. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is copy views and reports. So I'm going to take a minute and save this. Display the Gantt chart view. So I'm going to come over here and do Gantt chart. I go back to the Gantt chart. And so 7 through 14 are visible. Copy a picture of 7 through 14. Render the picture for the screen. So in your chapter on page 140 is the directions for this. But all we're going to do is on the task tab, we want to find the clipboard, right? We want to select copy, but not the word copy. When we go the arrow, and we're going to say copy picture, and we're going to do it for the screen. And let's see, for the screen, and okay, so I want to stop. So I want to select 7 through 14. Then let's start over. Copy picture for screen, selected rows, and then OK. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to bring up Word. And I'm going to do a blank document. And I'm going to paste. So now I have that line 7 or tasks 7 through 14. I was able to select it, copy it, go out to Word and paste it. So you want to keep this. And what I would do is before this, I would say, let's do page 150 step 3. Okay, because I want you to build this document. Okay, so then we're going to just move down. So then we're going to do page 150 step 5. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to project. If I can find it, there we go. Copy a full-sized image of the detailed timeline with pan and zoom disabled. So let's figure out how we can do that. So let's go to the timeline. So I went up to the timeline. My tabs changed. Now I have Timeline Tools Format. I want to find the group that says Copy. I'm going to click the down arrow for that. And let's see, full-sized image. So we want to do full-sized. Let's see. So let's go over to Word. We're going to paste here. And then I'm just going to size that down. So let's make this, whoa, what did I just do? Undo. Okay. So I'm going to click in Word on this, and I'm just going to make this smaller. It's going to be really scrunched, so it fits on the screen. So all I'm doing is bringing down the other thing we could do is make it landscape, and then we could make this a little bit bigger. I'm not so I just want to see that you've done it. Okay, so that's good. So let's go back to project, and let's see. Step number 6, copy the resource cost overview report and paste it as a picture into the same document. All right, so first of all, we got to get to the resource cost report. So let's go back to report. Resource cost, go back here, resource cost, right? And we're going to copy the entire report to our document. So because I'm down in the report, I'm going to go to Report Tools. I'm sorry, that's not what I'm gonna do. Report Tools Design, Report Group. We're gonna do Copy Report, and that's done. So now I can come over to Word, and then I'm gonna add in here page. Ooh, that's weird, that one. I don't like that. 150 step 6, and then we're going to paste. And there's the entire report pasted, right? Kind of not very good, but so I deleted what I did pasting because I wanted to put it on its own page so you can see the report. Boy, it didn't paste very well, did it? But we can play with it. All right, adjust the size and position of the images as desired. So each of these then is an element in Word that we can that you can manipulate. So take some time and play with it, see how it works. Right. right, so do you see it doesn't like wrap because they're graphic. They're graphic objects when you pull them into Word, so you have to play with them, play with the objects to try and get them. And then this one I could probably scrunch it down a little bit, but take some time and just try and get it laid out. And then of course you can always use your control key to select multiple objects. And let's see if we can move these around. I don't know. Okay, so I need to reset this so it's not. I'm going to do tight. All right, so the wrapping on that was keeping it stuck. Right. So we could put these on the line together. But I guess what I really want you to see here is how it comes over, and then you can start to manipulate things to adjust it. That's not too bad. All right, so moving on. So we're on to page 151, print view and reports. Display the print preview of the full Gantt chart and set to multiple pages. So let's go back to project. Display the print preview. So we have to go back to Gantt chart. And we're going to do a print preview. So let's do a print. And we want to full Gantt chart, multiple pages, entire project, and 1 to 6, print entire report, landscape, letter. So right down this bottom right lets me see all of them. So back to what we were talking about when you go to print, this is what you want to do before you decide to print it, because this simple little thing is 6 pages, right? And so here's like, if you were like to tape these together, this would be the whole project down here in the Gantt. So these 2 pages, these are the 2 for the project from beginning to end up and down on the left for the tasks. All right, so I think that's it. So when you submit your assignments, I want you to submit both the simple format project, and I want you to submit the Word document that contains the objects that you copied and pasted into Word. All right, guys, thank you.